here's a guy that probably would be interested in such an offer, but he's already at the games anyway. It's Trailblazers head coach Terry Stotts. Coach, back home after a 4-game and 5-night whirlwind road trip. What did you do today? I know you didn't have a formal practice, but I know that your mind never strays too far from the great game of basketball.
Well, actually, I went into our practice facility and took care of a few things. Being away from the office for a few days, get a chance to take care of some of those things. Some of the players did come in, did a few interviews. This is the last of my interviews today, so just a little, a few things here and there.
Do you ever get tired of interviews or seeing the players and just tell them, get away from me for a day, I don't want to see you? Does it ever come to that?
Well, not often. Last time we had 3 days off, I told everybody just to stay away from the facility. Everybody just needed to take a break. On days like this when there's guys who need treatment and things like that. So I'm thinking next, I think it's Wednesday. We have 3 days off, and so next Wednesday might be one of those days where just say nobody come in, stay away from each other.
If you look at the Blazers, they have 4 games in 5 nights. We're playing Denver. They've had 3 days off. How much of a difference is it game to game if you have 3 days off before you play an opponent or you play 4 teams in 5 nights? How much difference is there?
Well, that's really hard to say because these guys are such amazing athletes and they have such competitive will that they can force themselves through fatigue. And we've had, going into last night, we had a very good record in the second night of back-to-backs, and so you don't want to take that for granted. But the other thing is that 2 of our losses have been on the 4th game in 5 nights at Minnesota and at Oklahoma City. So I think fatigue and generally comes into play. At some point, you just don't know when, because there are nights where these guys just amaze me how they can fight through and will themselves to play a terrific game when their bodies have to be fatigued to some degree.
As a coach, there's only so much you can do to try to will your club to success over the course of a game. It probably was a bit of a helpless feeling last night to try to come up with some strategy to slow down Kevin Durant when he was just in a zone where obviously everything he was throwing up was going in, and he's single-handedly the reason why the Thunder were able to rally from that 5-point deficit in the 4th quarter to win the game.
Well, you do look back on it, but I was thinking about that today, and the fact is we had a 5-point lead with under 3 minutes to go, and it was 95-90. They're one of the more potent offensive teams in the league, so they're at 90 points with 2.5 minutes to go, or three something to go. So he's having a great game, and then he hits threes late in the game where. There wasn't a lot you could do. I think there was one pick and roll that maybe we could have trapped, but again, we were in a position to win a game, and he was getting his points, but we were controlling the game. So it's easy in retrospect to kind of look at what you might have been able to do, but I thought our guys worked very hard, and Durant's been doing it to everybody, so it's not like we were the exception.
I said. Talking to Wheels before the show, that might have been the most impressive game last night compared to the whole road trip, simply because it was the 4th game in 5 nights, and I agree with you. It's just the will to win. This team amazes me when you think, they're going to be down tonight, but boy, they somehow you get them going. Is there a magic formula?
Yeah, I think the magic formula is within each one of the guys. I think we have a very competitive group as individuals and as a team, and there's a strong belief with each one of them that going into each game that they feel like we should win the game, and they feel like that we're never out of a game. So I think the formula is innate within each player.
You know, if you look at points in the paint early in the season, everyone was saying Blazers giving up 48 points in the paint and everything. But the last 6-7 games, your scoring in the paint and your defending the paint has improved a whole lot. Have you done anything special to create that?
Well, we've made it a priority, and, we'll have some good games and we'll have some not so good games. And, Coach, it's like you look at one thing over here, like we're talking about our starts. I was thinking about this today, how we're getting off to poor starts. And now, San Antonio, Dallas, and Oklahoma City, we got off to good starts. We didn't get off to a good start against Houston. So now we're not talking about our starts. Our defense, we played exceptional defense in San Antonio and Dallas. So that was good. And then not so good the next two games. So it seems like, there's never an exact formula of winning points in the paint. I actually think we scored more points in the paint. I may be mistaken against Houston. But one of these games, I think it was Houston. We actually scored more points in the paint than they did. And we lost the game. So, I don't know. Sometimes the stats can be a little fickle and trends can be a little fickle. I just try and look at each game unto itself and figure out what we could have done better that particular game.
How do you feel about CJ's development to this point, and you even called a play for him in the fourth quarter last night?
He's, I've been trying to get him involved in the offense because he is a good scorer. He's a good shooter. And I think it's important that he still get some confidence. And it'd be a shame to waste his 6 or 7 minutes in each half and not be able to take advantage of his scoring ability. So I think he's done very well. I think all of us have put the fourth quarter in Dallas out of our minds and as an aberration. But I think he's come along. He's playing with confidence. He takes shots are there. I mean, he's made some rookie mistakes, but I think he still works defensively, and I think he's improved as this week or two have gone on.
They're going to have the USA pool of players tomorrow that will be. They'll take the selection from the world team that'll come up in 2014. How much has L.A. improved just in your 2 years that you've been around them? Because, back 3-4 years ago, L.A., there were certain ways to play him, and you could take things away from his offense. How much has he improved?
Well, in the short time that I've been with him, and believe me, the year he did not make the All-Star team, the year before he actually made the All-Star team, I thought that was his best year up until this season currently, because I thought that year he was terrific, and I think it was 10-11. But in the short time I've been with him here and working with him every day, I've seen his offense. He looks more confident as far as his ability to carry a team and deliver baskets when we need them. And not to say he couldn't before, he just looks like he's more confident in that role. But the other thing I think is more of an intangible, and I guess it kind of goes along with the confidence, is that he has grown into his leadership role. He's grown into accepting the mantle of being the best player and the responsibilities that go with that. And from a mental standpoint, I think that gives him confidence in himself, but it breeds confidence among his teammates as well.
Do you find yourself, I know I do now, and I hate to do it, but do you find yourself looking at the standings and saying, ooh, we've got a chance to be here, or is it that one game at a time still?
Well, I keep an eye on the standings. There's no question about that. I don't look and say what we need to do. I just kind of like to know where we are and where everybody else is. But we still look at the next game, and I think all of us, players and coaches, don't look at what we have to do over the next, like in the road trip. We need to go 2-2, or we need to win 3-1, or we got to win 4 out of these next 5. I think that is not a position that we want to put ourselves in. So we've done a good job of keeping a balance, of looking at where we are and who we got up next.
Lastly, Coach, talking about great players, the balloting for the fans to vote for the starters for the All-Star game ended on Monday. Those starters will be announced tomorrow, and then we'll get to the reserves. Clarify for everybody how the process goes in terms of you as coaches voting for the other players to fill out the All-Star team in your particular conference.
Well, we'll be asked to vote for 7 players, and we will have to vote for 2 backcourt players and 3 front court players. So that'll be 5. And then we can vote for 2 wild card of any position. So then once we have selected those 7 players, we put them in the order of hierarchy of how we think they should be. So you could conceivably, let's say, have a backcourt player as one of your wild card picks, and have him ranked ahead of a front court player that you had to pick. So, there's, I think that's it's really improved the voting over the years, but I think it's a fair way to get it done.
And you can't vote for your own players.
No, and we can't vote for your own players.
Okay, important to note. All right, Coach, thank you for the time tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you back here at the Moda Center, hopefully for a big night against the Nuggets tomorrow.
Hey, I got a question. You know,
yes,
Coach Wright got really excited about that promo right at the start.
I
remember that.
Which one?
Well, there was a big promo about tickets and.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you really got excited. I was wondering if you were going to buy a few of those for your family.
That's a whole different level of excitement.
Yeah. I'd have to really be excited. You know me too well now.
Real well.
Yeah. Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
I'll get a few tweets on that.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
All right, see you guys.
Hoops and Wings ticket pack. Yes, it's only $66, which is a great bargain for most.
Yes.
You know, others maybe have to think about it a little bit, but it's exciting for all. That much we do know. Thanks to Coach Terry Stotts and getting in a good zing as he often does.